Hello and welcome to SyncSpider's eCom Ops podcast. My name is Norbert and I am happy to welcome Heather Saffer from Dollop Gourmet in this episode. Hello, Heather. Great to have you
Hi,
here. Hi.
thank you for having me. And I'm impressed that you pronounced my last name correctly. Most people don't.
Well, I tried quite often, to be honest. But you know from Austria, there's people from Austria and their English. Yeah, you know Arnold. So we
Yes,
try
that
to
is true.
give our best. Yeah.
Oh, well, you're doing an excellent job.
Thank you very much. Heather, it's so great to have you here. My first question, how did you first get into e-commerce?
Great question. So I used to own a bakery, and we did, a lot of mostly cupcakes, but we did cakes and weddings and corporate events. And I went on Food Network's Cupcake Wars and won that show, which was fantastic for business. But a problem with having a bakery is you really can't do e-commerce. You can't ship very well. We tried shipping cupcakes like kits so that you could have it came with frosting and toppings and then the cakes, and we packaged it so that people would decorate their own cupcakes. But there was just a real difficulty with shelf life and shipping something that's perishable like that. So I decided I wanted to get out of the bakery business because I wanted to create something that I could do e-commerce with and ship all over. So that's when I created the frosting line, the Dollop Gourmet frosting line, and made it healthier and better for you, lower sugar, vegan. And that's when I started to get into e-commerce, when I created the frosting line.
Oh, that's great. Well, I can imagine that this is pretty hard to ship around food in any level. So keeping that fresh and so on.
Yeah, that definitely was a challenge. I mean, we were getting into grocery stores, but also wanted to do the e-commerce, and it is difficult. So I tried to create a product that had a longer shelf life and stability, and because it was vegan, so we weren't using dairy, so it was able to ship without ice or refrigeration. But there are still challenges when it's, if it ships somewhere like here where I am in Vegas in the summer and it's 120 degrees
Yeah.
Fahrenheit, like you don't want that sitting outside on someone's porch forever. So there's definitely those challenges. It'd be a lot easier to ship cardboard boxes, just empty cardboard boxes, right?
Yeah.
Or telephones or something.
I can imagine. Absolutely. And I've seen you've been on Shark Tank.
Yes.
How
Yep.
was that experience?
It was a great experience. I mean, it was a great life experience. It went as well as I could have hoped for it to go. The sharks were all very complimentary. No one was rude or mean to me. They were very nice to me, and they all loved the frosting. So it went well. I mean, I had a really good experience.
Yeah, that's cool. Let's get a bit more techy. What's your ecom stack? What's your tech stack?
So we use Shopify,
Yeah, cool.
and that's we switched over to Shopify right before going on Shark Tank, before the Shark Tank episode aired,
Hmm.
because that was highly recommended from other Shark Tank companies that that Shopify wouldn't crash. That's usually the big concern when you go on Shark Tank and you get hit with all these orders at one time. Is your website going to stay up? And with Shopify, they don't usually crash. So switched over to Shopify, and then we use SendGrid, and we use OmniSend for email and for email newsletters. We were using Klaviyo, which
Hmm.
I think is better, and I have a lot of friends that use Klaviyo, and it's a lot more pricey. So it just depends on how much you want to spend, how much e-commerce you're doing. So we switched away from that currently, but we might go back to it.
Okay. That's great. And do you sell on other channels as well, or is it just your store on Shopify?
We just sell on the Shopify store.
Mm-hmm.
Currently, we have sold on other channels previously, like Vitacost and Amazon. It's a little more difficult with a food product because you can only ask for so much from the customer. I mean, I think we're at $8.99 online.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, no one's gonna spend $20 on a jar of frosting. So there's like that, kind of gray area of trying to hit the right price point. But with e-commerce, now you have the shipping costs, and you have when you go to other platforms, Amazon was charging us like $6 a unit, and even selling wholesale to like Vitacost, like they mark it up even more. So it's just a little more challenging than if you have a product that you have more wiggle room on price.
Mm-hmm. And are there any other marketplaces that are interesting for any kind of food products in the US?
There's some other ones, but you still have the same challenges. Like you're sending it, you usually still have to ship directly from your, supplier, your warehouse to the customer, but then you have that additional middleman cost on top of everything. So
Mm-hmm.
we have used some other platforms, and there's some new ones now. Someone was telling me about a new food one the other day. But I mean, in this day and age, especially with what's going on in the world right now, owning your own eCom is going to be a lot more profitable than having a middleman, especially with food.
Yeah, absolutely, can understand. And is Corona affecting your business in a way, positive or negative?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely having an effect. Even though people are shopping online more, they're being more careful with their purchases. So that definitely we have seen a large decrease in our sales because of that. So there's not so much flexible spending anymore.
Okay, got you. Is there any specific person in your team that is focused on operations, or is it you,
Uh,
family, your husband?
so this is the interesting part that I'm not sure if you know, but I actually sold Dollop Gourmet. I sold the company in June,
Ah,
and
okay.
I sold the company to a Canadian company.
Mm-hmm.
So the past year has been a lot of transition, but so I'm currently kind of taking back over the social media and doing some of the e-commerce operations stuff, because the company that I sold it to, they do mostly B2B. So kind of B2C is new to them, and that's one of the reasons they wanted to buy Dollop Gourmet. But so we're still doing the transition process. So I'm handling a lot of it, the operation stuff for e-commerce.
Ah, okay. So you are the marketer and operator of the store still, but
Of the e-commerce, but the company that I sold Dollop Gourmet to, they're going to be doing the production. So we're transitioning, which is difficult because they're transitioning from US production to Canadian production. So there's a learning curve there.
yeah. What do you do to ensure that your customers have a constantly good experience and awesome experience with the product?
Yeah, so I mean, I think the thing that we do the best is just being very communicative with them, and sending out email newsletters. And if someone has a question, and we stay on top of social media, so checking the, direct messages on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook, and getting back to customers quickly.
Mm-hmm.
And if they place an order and they haven't received their order, looking into it, finding out, giving them answers, so that they feel taken care of.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And did you have something like a significant downtime or something in the whole setup? So where you faced huge gaps or problems recently, or is this all smoothly with Shopify?
I mean, there's no issues with
Yeah.
Shopify generally, but I mean, when you're dealing with probably any kind of production, but I know food best, we have definitely had issues. And even now, since we're transitioning, production,
Uh-huh.
but in the past, we've had issues with production. And, if something went wrong with production and people were getting
Mm.
product that wasn't really up to par, and then having to send them new product, or maybe we've had to like stop sales for a few weeks until we could get things under control. So there's definitely been an up and down over the lifetime of business.
Yeah, I believe. And is there anything that you can automate in your business? Is that an important fact, or is automation something that is simply not possible in the food market?
I mean, I don't know. I think we still have to like keep a watch on it, but as far as when orders come in through Shopify, it's pretty simple, just sending them directly to the production facility, and then they package up the orders and send them out. So it's
Is this
pretty.
something that you do via email, or is this via some API connection, or how do they pick those orders?
It just goes through email. It just
Email.
gets sent to them through email. Yep.
Hmm. And they copy paste the
Yep, they print the labels
Mhm.
and label the packages and then ship them out directly from there.
That's interesting. It's an interesting part because we hear that really often, and when you talk to people that that fulfillment is still not automated, so that they still copy paste the label, the information from the orders to print out the labels, which definitely could be automated. So this is something also we are focusing on at SyncSpider. Very interesting information that this is also. I think you get quite some orders, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, and right. It's not completely automated.
yeah, that's interesting. Very interesting part. Any concept for 2020 into 2021? What are you planning? Still growing, although not your company anymore, or?
Yeah. It's not my company anymore, but I'm still helping out. I'm still involved to an extent, and so I think this year 2020 2021 we're really going to be coming out with some new products.
Mhm.
And I mean, the labels have to be redone because now it's got to be bilingual because it's going to be sold in Canada. So kind of developing some new things. So we're not focused so much on growing the e-commerce right now until we have redeveloped things a bit, and then kind of doing a bit of a relaunch.
Mhm. Okay, got you. Um, is there anything or something or someone who has taught you most about e-commerce in your career?
I would say that I have learned the most from the other entrepreneurs that have been on Shark Tank.
Oh.
We're kind of a tight knit group, and so we all, really love helping each other out. And if someone needs help with something, there's always a bunch of people to give advice or make connections or do whatever needs to be done. So, and I mean, these are really, really amazing entrepreneurs that, have built big businesses, and they were on Shark Tank as well. And so they have a lot of knowledge and expertise to share, and that we can share with each other. So I think I've learned the most from them when it comes to e-commerce.
That's great. Heather, thank you very, very much for your time for this interview. We learned a lot today again. Thank you. I wish you good luck. Also, stay healthy during this bad time with Corona. Thank you very much for being my guest today.
Thank you, Norbert. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Stay safe
Bye-bye.
out there.
Stay safe. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.